Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another episode of the Gotcha Unks podcast, and this time we've got Neverness to Everness, NTE, NTR as some would say, and it's 1.0 live stream, it's 1.0 debut, and of course a bit of a discussion over here with some of my favorite creators in the space, Average Luck Gamer in the top left, and then we got Razor CT in the top right, and then I'm going to be over here at the bottom. And so that's going to be the lineup that we have. I'm pretty sure we should be looking to expand this one in the future. Probably get some more NTE CCs as time goes on. But with the game not released yet, it is what it is for now. So, yeah, I think we got a pretty good agenda. I'm not actually the one that prepared a lot of stuff for the discussion over here. I think we've all watched the live stream, but I actually want to leave it up to Razor. I think Razor in this situation, right, to kind of like maybe lead the discussion a little bit, especially considering that you've been digging up a lot of the glue for us for what we want to talk about today.
Sure. I mean, I found things on Reddit. It was quite easy to find, especially like the preview of what's to come for the 1.0 patch. And what was also kind of impressive, especially at the end of the live stream, when they showcased like all the things they already kind of like fixed or improving upon the game. Not something that's necessarily like, oh, it's coming at a later time in the future, but actually coming for launch by the looks of it. So hopefully it's going to be optimized, working well, and all that nice stuff. But in terms of the rewards, like if you look at the first picture that I sent you, like if you can find it, the rewards overview, right? They are giving quite a lot of rewards up front. I believe it's going to be 120 pulls in total, like up front, which is very nice. So you don't necessarily have to grind as much to get some initial pulls to get your S rank characters relatively quickly. And then you have the rest amount of pulls. I believe it's, what's the number again, actually? It should be like two.
I think they advertised
like 470 on the live stream. Yeah.
Yeah,
they gave a ridiculous number on the live stream, but on the stuff you sent over, I don't think it's that high. I think it's like 200 and something.
Yeah, I think they also show it on the live stream, actually, if I get the picture from there, the actual number. Sure. I'll find the picture, just a sec.
I think there were a fair number of like the actual like pull, like the red die, right, are like the limited pulls, and then the rest are implied to be converted from the Analyth, which is essentially, right, just like the Primo gems, the Astrite, the what is it called in Zenless Zone Zero, the Polychromes, I think.
Yeah.
The chrome,
the Polychrome. So yeah, I assume that's where the conversion's from, and I think the 470 plus that they're talking about, right, is from you taking the rebate currency and then obviously, right, converting some of that back into some pulls. So I obviously I think they're letting players choose what to do with that, and I think that's where the plus comes from. I would imagine, right? Because if you spend all of them, you're going to get enough rebate currency, because the standard pulls, right, turn into the premium rebate currency. I think it's the same, right? And you can just get that. You can just use that to get even more limited pulls moving forward.
I got you all the pictures, more or less, for this even in more detail.
Yeah, wait. Oh, you got a new one? Oh, here we go.
Yeah. There you go. This is like, I really appreciate the devs actually did this, so we don't have to rely on some third-party guy, you know, coming up with these numbers. They actually just give you like exactly where you get, what's from the gameplay, what's given up front. I would say it's very transparent, and I do appreciate this type of transparency. I wish more of upcoming gacha games did this, honestly.
Yeah, no, actually, I didn't even realize they broke it out, like this entire chunk that we're seeing over here, right? They decided to break it out across all the different activities. So yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from over here. I think this is a big W for the players. Yeah, I think this is a big W for the players overall. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And also I'm surprised they are giving S-rank character for free, especially with the dupes, and also like refinements for the weapon at the same time. I believe her name is Cheese, right? That's also kind of... Yeah, it's kind of interesting they're doing that. At the same time, it does make me think, like, is the character kind of balanced to be like, you know, really, you know, just...
More like A-rank level,
yeah. She's kind of be like dog shit, right? Like trash.
Or just balanced around being fully maxed out with the dupes. And
I imagine that has to be the case, right? I bet that character is never even going to have like a banner. I feel like she's going to be like an S rank in name only.
Yeah, potentially something like that. Yeah, but I think still it's fine. They give you options. I do appreciate that. Also, the selector banner, the standard banner selector system, I do like it a lot because I believe it's at 5 multis, right? You get to select the thingy, but you can basically just pull normally, like one regular Pythian standard banner, get an S rank, and then use the selector at a later time. You don't have to use it right away, right? You can
Yep.
kind of like hold on to it, see exactly what you get, and then choose. I think it gives like a lot of options and leeway. I think this game is probably going to be very good for re-rolling as well.
True,
Yeah, I think
true.
if you can get like how much did it say on the fabricated dice at the start? Like kind of like day one. If you can get an early, like within like 20 of the red pulls on Nanoli, I think that's like a huge dub, and that's probably what you'd be going for on a reroll.
I think that's what most of us are going to be going for. I think I'm just looking over here. One thing I did notice was that it doesn't seem like there's a lot of like early sources of the red dye. Like there's not really any from pre-registration. I wonder how many are going to be in like the inbox when you enter into the game. Yeah, we're only seeing like 32 over here as a whole. You like obviously most of the limited pulls are going to be coming from the analyth count right here. So I think it's maybe more so based off of how much analyth you're able to grind out. And then from there, just doing pulls on the limited banner. Because I don't really see a lot of sources of the red pulls that aren't like time gated.
I think it's designed that way. So you actually do get to play the game to get the S rank character. But if you do play the game, you should have enough pulls to get the character. But honestly, you could argue to easily skip the first banner and potentially just go for Hotori or skip 1.0 altogether and go for 1.1.
I mean, I've made that video on every gacha game I've covered. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
stop
but it
now.
works great. That should work great. Yeah,
Yeah,
it does work.
Isn't
Get
she like
1.0.
isn't like Natalie like the big quality of life character though? Because I think she might be the only one that has like the vertical movement, the running up the walls, all that.
The
Yeah,
movement mechanic is it's cool, but the climbing speed that you have as like just general characters anyway is pretty decent, and you can kind of just tap the button and then you kind of run up the wall. I will say that the movement mechanic is like it does make it substantially faster, but it's not locking you out of anything by any means. It's definitely a quality of life increase, and to be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if they start introducing that way more to newer characters.
Gotcha.
Like down the line, and then like by the time we hit 1.3, Nanoli, you'll be like, oh well, I can fucking fly now or whatever. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think for Nanali specifically, like even if you don't have her, I don't think you're gonna miss much because a lot of the time when you travel through the map, it's gonna be by car. And like a lot of vertical stuff, climbing, I don't think you're gonna do that as much. Like, sure, you have some buildings to climb here and there, but I feel like the most exploration gameplay is gonna be by car. So I think it's kind of like whatever, honestly.
Okay, so it's gonna be like a tiny little thing that might help with like a puzzle or two, but you should be able to do them without her.
Yeah, it's kind of like whatever. Most of the time you're gonna be driving around.
I would say running on the side of buildings is cool though.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it is cool. Hopefully they fix
cool.
a bit of the camera and stuff for that.
Definitely, it might be worth re-rolling for so you can save the pulls for future for sure.
Yeah, I think that's
you could re-roll.
I think that's the objective that everyone is going to have. Like, get her, don't worry about it, and then like basically start off with her, and then just have the rest of the pulls in the like what is it like the 200 something limited pulls that are going to be in the version. That means you could probably guarantee everybody up until the end of 1.1 if you do that, and of course like grind out everything in the game.
Yeah, I will say though that when we played the beta, and maybe you feel the same way as me about this, Razor, is that like it did feel like there was a lot of content in the beta, as in like for a reasonable normal human being it would not be possible to get through all of the content in, you know, like I don't see most.
It's more than 2 days of gameplay, basically. Yeah, let's put it that way. It's definitely more than 2 days of gameplay. Yes.
Like somebody's gonna like you could bust out a bunch of hours then, but it's still reasonable to do all the content before 1.0 ends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely like I think most casual players probably won't, but I think the more dedicated audience will be finishing it up in a week or so in terms of like what's in the 1.0 stuff. If it's the same as the beta, there might be more. So hopefully
they're definitely adding more of this stuff around.
Yeah.
I heard they're also adding like co-op capability for other features, like modes we didn't have in the beta, like the how is it called? The heist, basically. Yeah, the heist bank thingy, right?
Yeah.
That has co-op now as well.
Yeah, because we tried to do co-op on that in the beta, but it didn't work.
It wasn't available,
Gotcha.
But at least now it is available, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I want to read out one message from chat that I'm seeing over here. It's talking a little bit about like maybe comparing it to in terms of like AKE, the amount of like grinding you would need to do. I think that we just got to get like one thing straight right off of the bat. The pity doesn't expire in this game, right? The pity does not expire. And so if you're as long as you're okay with the idea of maybe not getting Nanoli, but you're still just going to pull to try to get her, right? And you can come to terms with that, then it doesn't really matter how fast you're getting done the 1.0 content, because any of the pulls you do on the Natalie banner will carry over to the Hattori one, and then obviously the Hattori one, whatever the 1.1 unit is. So you could really just play at your own pace. But if you feel like you need Natalie, well, then just fucking re-roll, or
You should be able to get it, yeah.
or
No
you
problem.
know, just know that you're gonna have like a 14-day time limit to get her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do also like the weapon banner has PT carryover as well. That is also very nice.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you
So
do
yeah,
have that as well.
everything carries over. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. I think one of the big things that we touched on earlier that I think is important to mention is the optimization stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And again, like this is something that that I called out a few times in the beta, and I think I put it on my feedback like very prominently, and they did make a big deal out of it. But it showed like a pretty decent like mid-range rig running it at 60, and then it also showed it at 60 frames per second. But then it showed like post optimizations is going to be running at around 100 FPS, which is fantastic because if I'm honest, there were times where the frames dropped down to like 30, 40, and I have a pretty decent PC, so yeah, like but the frames were absolutely chugging when I was streaming and stuff, and yeah, I think. For a lot of players, especially if they're playing it on more budget rigs, I'd hate for them to get turned off because the optimization was bad. So I'm really happy that they've put it into a good spot and they've focused very much on that. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah,
I
I'm
think,
very happy with that. Yeah.
yeah, I think that was going to be one of the biggest barriers to this game as a whole. Definitely the optimization, and I guess, yeah, I guess performance on the mobile devices too. But that's one thing they didn't really highlight that much during the live stream. So maybe they just kind of have given up on that.
I think I still have big question marks about that. Razor, do you know if anyone played it on mobile in beta? Was it available?
Not in the last beta, at least. In the prior beta, yes, and it seems to be working somewhat, but I don't know. I think it's Unreal Engine. Yeah, I don't have high hopes for mobile.
Well, looks like it's going to be one of those games that's mostly a PC player base. But, I mean, when you think about it, with the combat system that we've already been seeing, it doesn't look that conducive to mobile, much like Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to be honest. I feel like those games just don't really play that well on mobile. So, yeah, maybe it's... maybe we'll just see a similar sort of situation pan out.
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I can also share the list of the changes or hotfixes.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
did flash up a lot of changes towards the end.
They speed ran that shit. I was like, there is no way anyone watching this live can know what this is. Like, this is meant to be examined on a rewatch. That was my take, at least, when they were...
I think so too, yeah, absolutely.
Right, like, this shit over here, chat. This shit was crazy. Right? Like, this shit was
there's more
crazy
action,
over here.
And this is all applied already for the launch of the game. This is not like, oh, we're teasing for the future. It's like this is coming with the launch of the game. Which I appreciate this a lot, that it's not being delayed or something, you know? Because personally, it really annoys me when I have like some of these gacha games, like teasing the quality of life changes for the future instead of just like, you know, when you show it, it's for the next patch, launch, whatever, right?
Yeah,
and
that's a really frustrating
basically
situation, especially when they don't tell you which patch it's going to launch either. So maybe you think it's going to be like one version ahead, maybe 2, maybe 3. Yeah, it's just...
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But they give a full extensive list. Like there's so many screenshots that I'm sending you right now, as you probably can see. It's a quite all extensive list. You don't have to read obviously everything, but I do like that they are improving also the combat aspect. Like specifically one of the pictures, the first one with the blue border, attack cancel movement improvements, and also turning responsiveness improvements. That means like car handling, I assume, and also movement startup improvements. So it seems they might be fixing the car handling issue specifically for keyboard, I hope, and it's going to be great if that's the case.
Yeah, it was somewhat stiff in the beta, but I'll tell you something that gives me a lot of hope, actually, is the fact that Porsche let them put their car in it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which does make me think that they, like, the responsiveness, hopefully the driving feels a little bit more realistic and slightly less arcadey now.
Yeah.
Although I'm not against arcadey, but it kind of just... And maybe Razor, you can explain this slightly better, but like it kind of just snapped, like whatever direction you were meant to be going, it kind of just snapped to that direction as opposed to like smoothly turning. So it just felt a little bit funky to drive. So yeah, hopefully they've made some improvements there. And honestly, like the fact that they've collaborated with Porsche kind of gives me a little bit of hope for that.
Yeah, I hope so too. And actually, I would like to answer one question from the chat that were asking: have they made any improvements for PlayStation? Yes, performance improvements across PC, PlayStation, and supposedly they also say mobile. I'm not sure how well it's going to be for phone, but I think for PlayStation 5 should be fine at least.
Yeah, that was one of the first lines in like that pink page
Yeah,
that we were
yeah,
looking at over there.
yeah. Oh wait, there, I fixed it. Yeah, I accidentally alt-tabbed the call. That's why.
That was just on Razor's End. I've been a pure professional over here, and no hiccups.
Yeah, I'm
on.
sorry. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
get your shit together, man. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Late to the call and now this. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, it's
I'm only saying that because I thought I was gonna be the late one, and so I'm actually very happy that you're like tanking the blame for me here because I was like 5 minutes late.
Easy. It is what it is.
Yeah. And you can't hug men.
Yes, the
do you feel
dating
about that, guys?
situation. There's a little bit of a drama going on, I hear, where yeah, you're only allowed to invite the female characters on the little like escapades, right? To like your house or like dates and stuff like that. And even I guess to the car too.
Yeah, I'm not. The car
I don't know
you
about the
can.
car.
I
Yeah.
believe for the car you can bring the dudes.
Okay.
I sent you the Reddit post in question that covers this situation. I can try to explain best from my understanding. Do note disclaimer: I don't know all of their culture over there and all that stuff, but from my understanding, they don't want basically actual NTR. Basically, if a male character was touching one of the waifus physically in the game, there would be people out there who, let's say, wouldn't like that. And that's why you only have that male MC can touch female characters, only the male MC, which is the self-insert, or the female MC with female characters. That's also acceptable and fine. But when it comes to like male characters touching the male MC or female characters or let's say the male characters touching your waifus, even your female MC, you know, they might not like that. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so
I believe that's the issue.
So this is more so like a anti-NTR situation that they got going on here. That's
They don't want to upset a certain particular part of the player base over there that are spending money, big money for this stuff, and
Yeah.
that's what I assume is going on, and they're just playing it safe. Or maybe they're just like, oh, we don't want to have any issues with this. Let's just not have it.
yeah. I mean,
That, I would see something like that. Yeah.
it's definitely one way to nip it in the bud for sure, right? And I mean, I feel like the one way that they could solve it is that, like, if you invite a male MC, you can't invite female ones. Like, it's got to be, like, all one gender or some shit. Like, maybe that's some shit they'll add in the future. For, like, you know, the Love and Deep Space players, I imagine.
Yeah,
right? They
no,
could just
I
make, like, a
don't-
mini lads. I know both of y'all been playing lads. Right? I know ALG been playing lads for sure.
I did play
Lads.
lads one time. I
Yep.
was actually shocked. There's actual gameplay in lads. Did you know there's actual combat?
Yeah,
in
yeah,
lads?
there is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
It's not just fucking dudes.
That's
Crazy.
gameplay, bro. Great gameplay.
Yeah, that's what you were
bro.
playing for, right? The gameplay. We gonna.
I
we
mean,
gonna get some-
like honestly, I was waiting to get pegged, but it didn't happen. But to address the NTR situation, yeah, I think it's a little weird though, if I'm honest. I think it would be okay, especially if it was female MC, to invite male characters, because it kind of feels like it's excluding a little bit of the female audience. I know it's not huge for gacha games,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, there are husbando players, there are husbando enjoyers, and if we look at like sales of you know, like male characters outside of like, you know, goonerific games like Zenless Zone Zero, you know, like characters in Genshin sell really well. Varka, I think, did pretty well recently for Genshin.
yeah, like Varka,
so it's like,
Flynn's.
yeah, I do think that we're immediately going down the waifu route super early, and I think this could have been a game that kind of spread into both a little bit. But it does feel like they're just leaning straight into the waifu thing.
Yeah,
which
I-
like as a straight man who plays lads one time, I'm okay with that. But like, I do think they're maybe like closing off a large portion of their audience.
I really do think in a
but that's
future
a-
update they'll just have like female MC is allowed to invite like just a bunch of dudes. Like just like if they realize they do maybe have like a decent female audience of like husbando collectors and stuff, it would just be in their
Could
best
happen, yeah.
interest to add that feature. And I don't think any like straight dudes are gonna be like, oh, like I guess what would be, just don't invite the fucking guys then if you're not like, unless you're gay, don't invite the guys. I don't think it's that
Yeah, I don't
crazy.
think it's even going to be an option, right? I just think there would be potentially some people upset that like these male characters touch the female MC. I know it's super dumb, but that's
is
what
dumb,
I believe is
but-
going to happen over in certain countries.
When we get to
That's
like
my point.
limited characters as well, like limited like male characters, we have to think that the value proposition then is then lower, because like half of the game is like hanging out with the cute characters and stuff. If
True.
you want to hang out with, you know, like a cute guy, then you just can't. I feel like I'm the one coming off super gay here, right? I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah, that's why I've been letting you lead the discussion on this matter.
I'm just gonna stop.
Hey,
I'm just gonna stop.
chat.
Yeah.
He was tanking. He was tanking that one.
Yeah, I altered.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, I altered for the gays.
Hey, they're gonna appreciate that, man. You got a new audience now.
Yeah.
Easy. But yeah, basically,
Please change the subject, Razor. Yeah, thank you.
okay, I wanted to follow up, but okay, now you have to come up with the subject, buddy. Since you don't want me to follow up on it.
Hey, you got yourself
Yeah.
into
So-
this hole. You gotta pull yourself out.
So,
Pun intended.
yeah, Hotori's pretty cool. What did we think about them overly focusing on Nanaly though, in the date sequences? Because I'll be honest,
Actually-
it felt a little odd.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how old is the character, right? I have no idea. But speaking of characters, if I may add,
I just went from one terrible subject to another one. I don't know, man.
It's
Like,
fine. I'm changing the subject. Don't worry. So I noticed a lot of
Thank you,
upcoming
go on.
yeah, a lot of new upcoming characters, right? They all pretty much seem to be female. Like a lot of the hinted characters showed in like media from them, whatever, right? It seems to be like only two new dudes, and everything else just waifus. So like the ratio is gonna be really skewed towards like primarily waifus and very minimal dudes. Because I swear there's only like two male playable characters. Maybe there's a third one, but like only two.
I think there was
and,
three.
like-
There's the standard guy, as well as like the wolf guy, and then the guy
No,
that
I
looks
meant
like
like
Gateo.
future characters. I meant
Like limited-
future
yeah.
characters. Like
oh,
no,
I see.
yeah, because they already show like 10 future characters basically from, you know, all of their media. There's even like a samurai lady, like you saw it, right, from the live stream. So there is a lot of new characters already showed by the devs, and it's only two new dudes and like 8 waifus. Like
Gotcha.
and what I really like as well with how they hype up the future characters by showing like a big cast of characters already. Like we start 1.0, but they already showed us like about 10, almost like 10 new characters. They're not even in the game yet.
Yeah.
And you can see like the actual 3D models and everything. So you can have things to like be excited about, or like, oh, this is what I want to go for, right?
Yeah, I think like we've barely seen any of the. I've opened up some of the stuff you
There-
sent over the
as-
ETD6 faction.
Yeah.
like, we've barely seen any of them, and it's kind of awesome that they're showing us this far out like what we're going to be getting. Because I mean, if we think about it, like if these are all limited characters, you know, this is months worth of content and months ahead of time.
As far as I'm concerned, though, for all the male units, the blue guy in ETD6 with the mask seems like the only new male unit that's not already in the game.
No, there's also the hacker man guy with the hoodie.
Where's
Yeah.
where's he?
He's right next to the.
Oh,
the-
that's
right
a
next to him,
that's a dude.
Yeah, that's good. That's it. Yeah, that's
Oh,
it. Yeah.
So you don't want to take that guy and hang out with him? Just saying, like just putting it out there. No one else wants to hang out with him.
I was about like hey, could have fooled me. Yeah, that's a. I thought that was a female.
No, it's a dude. So this is pretty much what you have, and everything else is waifu, and that's why I believe they're pushing really hard for, you know, the waifu enjoyers. And like there's lots of new characters shown. It's like it's ridiculous. I don't think I remember a single gacha game, like at least a big one, that kind of teased so many new characters before launch or on the launch of the game.
I think
It's
ZZZ
really a lot.
actually did something
Yeah,
very
ZZZ
similar.
had a
Okay.
trailer where we saw a lot of
Oh
characters.
yeah, okay, you're right. Actually, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't forget about ZZ.
Like,
Yeah, ZZ was it. Yeah.
But this
They
does
have-
feel very similar to the way that ZZZ did it. It's like I can't remember if it was the live stream beforehand or if it was on.
It was
launch
like
that we
their
got that trailer.
debut version
Yeah,
1.0 of the
yeah.
game. They showed basically everyone in the game up until 1.4.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
what I think ZZZ did. Everybody up until maybe even 1.5, to be honest, right? It was like from Astra onward, it was new.
Yeah, France, yeah, I think it was.
yeah, so yeah, up to 1.4 is about right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I totally forgot about that actually. My
But
bad.
again, yeah, like I think the characters that we've seen here probably take us up to the similar like kind of standing of up to 1.4-ish of the game, probably.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah, I think it's
that's
a
pretty cool.
very smart decision.
I mean,
they did this.
Low
yeah.
key, it might just be following the same mail schedule for ZZZ's release too, where it's just like the first dude was lighter in like 1.3
Yeah.
first half, right? Bro, like the first
1.3,
limited
yeah.
mail banner in this game was like, bro, that shit was like 90 days in release. Actually, no, not even 90. Yeah, it was like 120 days into ZZZ's release. You had your
Yeah.
first mail banner.
I mean, at least he was good on launch, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good though. Yeah,
Yeah. Now,
cooked now, but good then.
yeah, yeah, about that.
What about Hugo?
Dead in the water. What about Billy? Probably same shit, right?
ZZZ males are always cooked.
Yeah, it's cooked, bro.
Release them before the Void Hunters.
Maybe
Easy
that's what
clap.
they'll do as well for NTE. Maybe the male characters will be cooked as well. If they go like ZZZ.
Well, I think they got like a good benchmark of like, as long as they don't release a character like Miyabi or like a Void Hunter or any of that shit, they probably should be fine in the balancing department. But if they do, then yeah, they might have the same not Void Hunter, don't get pulled curse that we're seeing that we're seeing in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they will handle it nicely. But also it seems to me they're very focusing on a lot of features besides the combat, like housing, driving, dating. And speaking of combat, you do have Endgame. Like you will have your typical Spiral Abyss, but it's a combination with Viva, specifically the token parts. Like, you know, the tokens you buy in Viva
Yeah.
to get like a buff for your team. That's what you will have. And you will need to use 2 teams for the higher floors. And you're going to have like 2 versions, like the permanent floors and then the resettable floors every 2 weeks. So I think the end game, it's good that we have something on launch. So we actually have units, you know, to build, something to work towards. And I don't think it's going to fall in any trap as some other recent
But,
games. So I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah,
It is going to be like the most straightforward end game, though. Like it's going to be pretty straightforward. You know, like 2 teams, work your way through, get a little bit of currency, do it based on time. There's waves of enemies.
Yeah, have a reason to grind gear and progress your characters, especially
Yeah,
within like
yeah,
the
yeah,
first
it's-
30
Yeah,
days
absolutely.
of the game. Yeah, no, I think as a 1.0 experience, it's looking pretty solid to me. Like, I think the main like conclusion most people can have from the live stream is that there's just not really anything that looks like it's taking away or like being like annoying or like anything that's kind of like a cause for concern right off the bat. So
I do think in terms of like concerns, like you're right. I think at this point it does feel like all good news. I think the big thing that we probably should touch on though is the potential future pull economy post the honeymoon period. Because it does feel like this is very much honeymoon. They're fully leaning in. They're giving us, I mean, the total of 400 and something pulls. We have to give it 2 months, and then Razer can start dooming it. That's
yes, I said 1.1 was essentially going to be whether or not you like know the game is like a little bit cooked. Because let's just be honest here, a 70 soft pity is already like very good, right? 70 soft pity, 90 pull max, and then no 50-50 basically means that like, well, shit, right? You should be able to get a lot of characters in the game, specifically from like 1.0's pulls as well, because you see so many, right? Available in the update. And so it's kind of just like, well, are they going to do what other games did where like the patch right afterwards is like 60 and then you're just like, oh, dearie me, or God forbid in this game like 40 and then you're like, oh, dearie me.
I mean, there is another trick they could also do, like maintain the amount of pulls relatively high, but they could make characters more like you need the dupes or something.
Yeah, you need
There's
dupes, or
always like a
you,
trick they
you
can
desperately
do.
need engines to keep up with Endgame or something along those
Yeah,
lines.
they could pull something like
Like
that
six.
to compensate
Yeah.
for no 50-50. There's always like ways for these companies like to, you know, figure out how to go about it, right?
True, true, true. Once you think about it, where
So we'll have to see how they will go for 1.1, but I think they will be much more probably generous, at least on launch. I expect the honeymoon phase to potentially be like entirety 1.0, and I think 1.1 is gonna probably be relatively strong patch as well because they do have some nice upcoming looking characters, and they're probably gonna put something very hype or desirable in 1.1 right away, and not some random shit that could be like a 4-star, right?
Bruh.
yeah, like units that look, or
Yeah,
even
yeah.
especially like the story quests that the units have too. I'm hoping that it's all in sort of like chronological order, and you don't have to like go back in time to like stuff that you completed like a whole fucking like 2 months ago for like the story quest to make sense.
Yeah, something like that.
Wait, are we shitting on Enfield? No, I'm joking.
No, I'm just talking about the gachas in general.
Just talking about gacha. We're
Yeah,
just talking about
yeah,
Yeah,
gacha here, man.
absolutely.
yeah. Just
What do you mean, buddy?
Oh, dude, I was gonna say something else. I forgot what it was. You put me
Raven, what are
off
you
track
doing? I'm
completely.
keeping you engaged, boys.
Yeah, for real, for real. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they put something hype in 1.1 character-wise, like because they want to keep up that momentum. And if we look at like some of the upcoming characters, there's some really cool-looking ones. I'm very excited for the CS2 girl, CSU2 girl, the one at the front, the one a little bit like demon horns. She looks a little bit like a bigger Booba Miyabi, to be honest. But like I'm so down for that.
let me see
The
here.
Yuna one is also great.
Oh, CSU2, the one with the tail, the demon horns, and it looks like she's wearing like her boyfriend's shirt. That's the vibe that I got. It's like you know how there's like always those scenes in the
Oh yeah, I'm
movies
down.
where it's like they wear like the oversized shirt. That's literally just like what her outfit looks like.
Hey, that's cool. Did you like the samurai lady as well, LG?
Which one's the samurai lady?
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay, I send you the picture. Like it's a Reddit post, just a bit up.
Oh yeah, the blind, or not the blindfold, the eye
blindfold.
patch samurai lady.
Yeah.
No, she's for sure
Oh.
like the one. She's for sure like the Void Hunter character. Yeah, she's the Void Hunter.
The
Yeah,
Void
probably.
Hunter.
1,000,000%. I assume she's gonna be a little bit broken. I think she's basically like the Sentinel unit. At least from Wuwa, the Archon unit from Genshin.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah, we
think so, yeah,
we
that's
all
what
kind of
we
like the
call it.
Emanator. We all kind of know what's going on with her.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be something like that. But there are like a couple of characters that are already like excited for. They look great. Like LG said, the Dragon Waifu. Then you have the Iuna one. From ETD6. I don't know what's her name. Actually, don't know all of. But they actually revealed the names for most of these characters already. But she does look great as well. The one with
you got the
blue
wedding dress,
ponytails,
the wedding dress unit.
yeah, I think she's cool. Then you also have the Tamamochi Street, the singers one. I think the A rank one is a
The A rank one's the one that we get for free
for
on.
free. And the
day
other
3, I think,
lady,
yeah.
she seemed also pretty cool, and she already has like an outfit or something as well, like a casual outfit as well when she works in the bar. When you met her through like a story, so I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot of nice stuff, man.
Yeah.
Is that
Another
CCR
thing to
one?
mention is that there are a lot of outfits as well.
Oh
They
yeah,
do.
a lot of outfits, and
Yeah,
also
they are
free
kind of
options.
leaning into you wanting to customize your character. Not like you can actually customize it, but like the wanting to either roll for the cosmetics on the limited banner because you get them as part of rolling on the limited banner, or you can like separately buy them. And I think that's kind of what they're I hope that that's the way they monetize it and not necessarily monetize it due to like power creep.
Yeah,
if I'm
potentially. I
totally
mean,
honest.
there are different monetization structures for the
Yeah.
skin. Some of the skins are effectively from the gacha. Some are direct purchase, like with gems, paid gems. Not paid, like just gems. Or was it paid gems? I think it was paid gems, right? It should be paid gems.
Yeah.
And then you also had with phones, which is like an in-game currency, which you get from your tycoon level activities. Like let's say you're driving a taxi, yada yada, basically performing city activities. You're gonna get like a currency, and you can use that currency to buy some of the skins. So even free-to-plays can get certain skins for free. So I think that's a good option. It does take a bit of time to grind it, though. It's not gonna be like fast. but it's
Yeah, I was
something
going to
that you
say,
can.
like, yeah, the cost was pretty high in the beta
Yeah,
for
but
some of
it's
the earnable skins.
I
But
have
it's kind of understandable.
I have a
Yeah.
bit of an interesting take on like skins and clearly the massive number of skins that NTE plans on having. I think skins inherently should actually help minimize power creep. Because think about it this way. Why would you even buy paid skins or grind all this shit out in the first place if the game has rampant power creep? You're just gonna be like, okay, great, I now have a skin for a dog shit unit. Bro, I'm not gonna buy a skin for, like, in a game where I, like, know the units are not, like, my unit is not going to be playable, then my skin is fucking useless, right? And if anything, I can imagine that by having skins and knowing that that's, like, a monetization route for the company, that probably means that it's likely to get into, like, buffs, too, if units start, like, underperforming and stuff like that over time. Like, just think about it, like, honestly, the skins in this game, I think, are more comparable to, like, League of Legends skins, right? Or like MOBA skins, right? And they try to make sure that every unit in that game has like a meta use case, whatever, like a playable situation, so that people buy the skins. Otherwise, it's like, hey, if the character's complete utter dog shit, the skins are never going to get purchased in the first place.
Yeah, I do agree that plays a part because like people still do like this character to be powerful. No matter how people are casual, they still like the feeling of like I'm playing something that's strong naturally. And do tell LG.
No, I was gonna say there is also the element of though, like inviting them to your home and hanging out with them and all of that stuff, and having like a slightly more goonerific skin might be a little bit of an appeal for a
Yeah,
certain type of
sure.
degenerate audience.
Oh, so you're just gonna be like,
but
oh, you're for the end game, you're for the gooning, and then like, is that kind of like the approach you're thinking? Just
maybe, yeah, but I do agree with you that yeah, in theory, like if they monetize skins and you know people end up actually by purchasing the skins with real money, like then you don't want to do that for a character that you're not going to play in the end game. But I do think for me, like I think end game in NT, I'm glad it's there. I'm glad it exists day one. I'm glad that we're going to have something to work towards in terms of like, you know, once we finish the story and stuff.
reason to build your characters.
Yeah, but I am
much,
kind
yeah.
of just more excited for the slice of life city sim, hanging out, like doing cool shit, going to the shops, you know, like
He wants to go to co-op again and sit on the couch. Got it.
yeah, you know, like, you know, just I do think that it has a different vibe than most other gachas that I've played for sure, because I think a lot of gachas they do end up like having a little bit of a like a combat focus once you kind of done with the story. But I think having a little bit of like, oh, I need to make sure I spend these credits so that I can buy this new apartment, so that I can hang out with my wife who's in the thing, like, and having a slightly different thing to work towards, I think is going to be cool. And for me, like, I kind of hope they lean into that, as opposed to like just going down the route of combat.
I think it's,
but I might be out on my own there. I don't know.
Actually, wait, if I might add something very quickly, there is more social functions you can do, especially racing, right? They said in the live stream, I believe
true.
you'll be able to race, not just with friends, but I believe you're also going to have like a matchmaking system where you're going to be like to find other people to play multiplayer with, even if they're not from your friend list, from my understanding at least. So you will have also racing, and maybe some people will like enjoy, you know, maybe not as much combat, but just like they want to race with the cars and stuff, you know, with friends or with against strangers.
I mean, they're probably
So
gonna have the racing, and they're probably gonna have matchmaking for the heist too, right? So you can just be
and
like,
also mahjong multiplayer as well. I believe it's added. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are other avenues besides combat. So what LG wanted, it's not just like necessarily just housing stuff and social.
Yes.
Chill. You could also have like actual competing with the races and stuff. I think that's pretty cool option, and it does add like more things to do within the game, because like end game content resets every 2 weeks, you know. Then you have to wait, but you could do like these races or other things in between and still have, you know, something to do. I think that's fun.
I think the main thing is like the optionality, right? Because
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, the combat is always going to be something that you have that you're looking forward to, and at the end of the day, right, when it comes to like a good part of the game's progression systems, that's going to be the end goal. But I think when it comes to like the side activities that you guys were talking about, I'm just hoping that there's a good balance there where it's just sort of like, hey, it's kind of like this permanent thing that's happening in the background, and you can decide to be the guy that like no lifes the game on like the non-combat stuff, get it all done. But it's not like you feel like you're on some sort of like time limit or like time crunch every patch, and it's like, oh,
Actually, there is one thing. The social city activities like racing, that does cost stamina. I'm not sure if the multiplayer one will also cost stamina, but the single player one did cost stamina as far as I know. You have two separate stamina.
Yeah, there was two separate staminas.
Yeah,
Was it the
yeah.
weekly or the daily?
Yeah, yeah. You have
I think
the
we're talking about the
weekly
weekly
stamina.
one over here with the
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
city
And
activities.
maybe that's how they limit it, but maybe for multiplayer car racing, there might not be stamina limit, but at the same time, it might not have like actual meaningful rewards from it.
Yeah,
I don't know, right?
I'm just hoping that they have the sort of like reserve stamina system, maybe like just like at least like top of mind for some of those more I guess
absolutely.
like combat oriented player, right? Where it's just like, hey, I'm just here to like grind out my shit and get to the end game ASAP, and then I'll like leave some of like the goofy city activities for later, but then not feel like, oh shit, because I like missed a week, now I'm like fucking super far behind in like this other shit. I think it's just like avoiding that, because this is going to be a game, right, that's introducing a lot of, well, let's just be honest here, like new sort of like slice of life features that the genre hasn't really had a lot of before. And so it's really just about like balancing that piece and not making it feel like players are missing out too much. And I think they should be good.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. Like, you do have a lot of I believe they actually also said, maybe not in this live stream, but one of the prior ones, that they're planning to add more of this event, like activities, basically, these social activities you can do throughout the city. So this will only get more expanded, and I think it's going to be great.
I saw an interesting question in chat just a second ago about the dupe system. I know we touched on dupes potentially, like that might be how they decide to monetize like endgame stuff. But I think it's worthwhile talking about the way the dupe system works in the that you can select what dupe you want to activate. So like imagine like, you don't go through like, M1, E1, C1, C2, C3, C4, like you do in the other gacha games. You can choose which dupe you want to activate. Which I think is pretty cool. But the worry that they have is that like potentially would it make those early dupes really powerful if you can activate like a really strong early dupe? And then does the end game end up getting balanced around that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I guess,
basically like get the dope.
I think that like it kind of just matters, right, about how strong they're making them overall. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be like tiered in strength, where it's like, hey, you look like a Wuthering Waves character's S6 and it's like destroy the world after you cast your ultimate, right? Like that's what like some of them literally fucking do in game, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to be like, I guess, like some slight like some slight like stat boosts or like damage boosts on like certain parts of the abilities, so that it's just like that's what I would imagine. Otherwise, like, being able to select whichever one you want out of the 6 doesn't really make that much sense.
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean,
I haven't looked too deeply on it, but yeah, like I do hope that that's the case.
Yeah,
it's like, like minor buffs that you would get. Like, I mean, to be honest, like Enfield's like potentials are pretty bad, as in like they're not worth the investment. So if it was like unlocking any of those potentials, like it's just minor stat upgrades for the most part, it's like, okay, well that's fine.
Yeah,
I think the dupes were a bit more stronger from as far as I remember. I do have like a lot of screenshots or footage of them if you really want me to pull it up, if you want to see how it looked like in the beta. But actually also in Pridwin you can see the dupes right now. I think they have them written.
Oh
right?
yeah, we saw that Hotori's kit's already on there, by the way.
Yeah,
and she's meant to be the second.
I'll give you the links right now so you can see the dupes quickly for yourself.
Oh damn. Okay. Wait, if Pridwin already has a page for it, then they probably they're probably pretty locked into the game then. I mean it makes sense that they're pretty locked in, especially considering the I mean it's similar to a lot of other
so we can look at
already.
Nanali, for example, because she's the limited character. You can see her awakenings, and you can see the dupes exactly what they do. Like extend duration of her ultimate to 19 seconds, further extended to 20 seconds when out of wait, is that her ultimate? Ichidaime Authority? Actually, or no, that's her skill. Never mind, that's her skill. Okay, that's her skill. So she has a dupe where she can extend the skill quite long time. Energy, ultimate energy for each follow-up attack she performs. Triggers most ones. Okay, I mean, some of these dupes, underboss deals 30% increased damage. I believe that's one of her. Is that one of her abilities?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. It does seem a bit like.
Doesn't seem that crazy.
Yeah, but she
Maybe
has
a
a dupe where she can also increase her own attack up to 20% attack.
What I'm
So
seeing over here
yeah.
is that a lot of Natalie's dupes appear to be reliant on having other ones. For example, right, her A3 says
Yeah.
applies one follow-up attack whenever she deals damage to an enemy under the authority, up to once a second. And then it's like grant Natal, and her A1 is grant her ultimate energy each time she does a follow-up attack. And then like her A5 is like increase her attack by 2% for each follow-up she does. So, like, to me, I guess it's sort of just like some of the individual ones maybe aren't that strong individually, but like if you get 3 of them together, right, you get this one for the extra damage, you get this one over here for an extra follow-up, and then this one for the extra ER, and then you skip A2 and you skip like A6, right? Then maybe that's like how they're, you know, how the strength is looking over here.
Actually, we should take a look at Hotori. She seems to have a very interesting dupe. 30% ignore target defense.
Yeah, I would say the Ichidame extension. The Ichidame is the running on wall effect, and it lasts even longer outside of combat. So if you can just turn that off and on as you want and switch it to different ones, you could actually just run that outside of combat, like her A6 for Natalie, which is pretty cool. But sorry, I am going to move over to Hotori.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Hotori has some interesting dupes as well.
Ignore 30% of the target's defense during time stop. Oh boy, oh boy.
I think that's from her ultimate. Her ultimate can time stop for like I don't know for how long though. I think she can stop for a certain
30% death shred is like a, I mean, it's a buff for sure, but it's not like.
True.
What about her A5, where when she's deployed, if there's only one enemy on the field, the entire team's damage against the target is increased by 15%.
Again, it's a buff, but it is only 15%. It's so it feels like they're kind of controlling the power level of these skills. Of these like dupe effects. And they sure if you
it's not gonna skyrocket.
I look at Hotori's and it kind of doesn't even look like there's a lot of reliance on other dupes. It's sort of just like
on its own,
yeah, they kind of do seem relatively standalone. I mean, I guess you could say A2 and like A6 because you're like, well, you're increasing her damage during time stop and then also reducing their defense, so it's even more damage, but it's just more damage.
Yeah.
And I assume most of her damage is done during time stop anyway, so it's kind of just like great. I'm personally of the opinion it might seem like weapon dupes are like more of like a reliable way to increase the strength of a character. Maybe it's like even like more meta, I guess, for whales to get like a couple of these and then like just get more weapon dupes or something to get like extra copy of those. That's kind of like what, the dupes in this game, they don't look that wild.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't.
On the plus side as well, it doesn't look like there's any like gameplay mechanic switching ones, which means they have to make the base gameplay like pretty good, because there's no like locked gameplay mechanics behind like, you know, 2 dupes of a character or something, which is something we do see in other gacha games. So very true. If it's just like, oh, extra damage during time stop, and if you get 2 of them, you can do mega damage during time stop. It still doesn't change the way you play the character.
One thing I have been thinking about though is with this game not having a 50-50, it does kind of seem like it might be a bit difficult to get the standard characters in their dupes.
Actually, yes, but they do give a lot of standard pulls, and if they keep up giving standard pulls, you will naturally get the S-rank characters on the side from the standard banner. And also, I believe you can buy them directly from the shop as well, besides the weapon. You have that option.
I'm a little worried as we go forward to kind of pull the wool over our eyes from a pull economy perspective. If they start saying things like, oh, and in patch 1.3, there's going to be 60 pulls, but 50 of them are like the solid dice, you know, like the standard banner pulls. And at that point, you've got like 3 standard, you've got like all of the standard characters and you've got a couple of dupes for them as well. And you're like, I don't really need that.
I'm trying to find the weapon for Hotori as well, if it's on Pridwin as well, just to see how good these weapons seem to be for the limited character.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one's hers. I was just having a quick look as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure it out as well.
But it does look like the dupes of the weapons. Like you can see there's different like numbers. Like if you look at Blow Up the Crowd just as an example, I think that's the top one under the S ranks. Increases the character's attack by 10 or 11 or 12 or 30. It's like a 1% diff for the dupe.
Really? Oh, so even like the weapon dupes are kind of boo-boo.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's several different buffs that get very small increases, but
oh, this shit's a scam. Oh,
Well,
this shit is
on
a
the
straight up
plus side,
scam.
I mean,
there's no point pulling dupes.
they are actually giving some of the S rank weapons also from killing bosses
Yeah.
first time. Maybe that's why they kind of decided to make them like a bit more, you know.
I'm not gonna lie,
is
the
fun.
weapons also look incredibly kind of not really that strong. One of them I'm reading over here is increase attack by 25% for 10 seconds after using an ultimate. Like, that is all it does. And that's an S rank one. So I just feel like the sort of like power
think it's a
scoping on the
standard one,
weapons, yeah, it doesn't really seem like it's there. Which is, I think is fine, right? It just kind of means that, like,
Yeah.
hey, weapons aren't really, like, the biggest factor ever when it comes to,
I mean,
like...
obviously, they could ramp it up over time, but it's obviously good to start with like a low baseline, not like too strong on launch already. So at least that's that, and hopefully they maintain it like that as long as possible, and not do some crazy leaps or or something like that. Yeah.
They
And
do
it should be
have
fine.
only a couple of crit ones, though. We all know how important crit is.
Yeah, pretty much.
But this
You
one...
can also filter actually.
Wait,
yeah.
this Fluff of Fleetness one just looks broken. Is this shit, like, is this a standard one, Fluff of Fleetness? Increase attack 5% every 1 second up to 5 stacks, and it resets when the owner leaves the field.
I
It
think that's
might-
level. Yeah, I think that's at like a lower level, the one you're looking at there.
Fluff of
Because mine
I
Fleetness.
says
think so
25.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like that.
Oh,
If that's a standard one, that seems pretty solid. Oh, but there are types to it too. I see like liquid, plasma, gas, and synthesis. Solid. I assume those are like the character classes,
have
right?
that, yeah.
So like not everybody can just equip all these.
No, those are not character. You have basically the elements. The character classes are basically survival, damage, buff, I believe.
Oh, wait, so what is like type? Are they describing like the shit? Like what? Like gas, solid? Like what does type even mean here?
It's the I believe it's the damage, isn't it? Like on the
I
weapon?
actually don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure about it too.
But I think
It's not the damage. Damage is the element, but I still think each character has a like they have this icon next to them, and then they have to have the matching weapon for it. As far as I
Okay.
know, yeah.
Maybe
There's
that's
type and elements. They aren't the same exactly. Yeah, the type it's written on
yeah,
the
they
weapon.
use different wording to explain the different things. I think.
Yeah,
So
I
I
don't
think
know. I
the
don't think
characters
Pedro
type,
shows
like
which
yeah.
type
So
they
there's the
have.
solid, gas, liquid, and that must be the different character types like anima, chaos, cosmic. Or do you know what I mean? Like it
This
ties
is
up
for weapons,
somehow.
yeah.
okay. All I'm seeing over here is
kinda
that
forgot how
this
that
game
works,
has like
honestly.
5,000 S rank weapons. Holy shit! How does it have this many S
Basically,
rank
yeah.
weapons?
I mean, they do give lots of for free, and a lot of these weapons
Yeah.
you can also buy directly from the store. So, especially the standard ones for the standard characters, and also, like I said, the characters themselves. So people can get the character standard dupes or dupes of the weapon, or just the weapon standard itself.
Oh
if
yeah,
they
no,
want to do directly.
I'm not saying it's a
Unless-
bad thing that there are so many. It's just I'm surprised that there are so many S rank weapons in here. It's
There are
actually,
some better weapons for the characters, yes.
yeah,
Somebody was asking.
it is
about that.
mind blowing that there's so many. But maybe, yeah, maybe it is a somewhat similar system to there's one for every single unit. Is that kind of like what's going on here?
I believe yes. Every unit, at least every standard unit, does have its own quote-unquote signature standard weapon, just like you would have in HSR
Gotcha.
The S ranks.
Okay,
Or-
okay,
or
okay.
VZZ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that is gonna make A ranks feel like useless though. We'll just have to see. Because it's actually, there's not that many A rank weapons now that I'm looking at it. There's less A ranks than there are S ranks.
Like signature for the A rank characters, potentially, but I'd never really looked into it because, like I said, we just focused on getting the S ranks instead.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully A ranks don't just feel like a useless stopgap that are just like a bait for players. Maybe that's how they're designed, right? And like, that's kind of what it's looking like to me, actually.
I
Because there's so
feel like that
few.
might be the case because of some of what Razor mentioned earlier. Like you will get the standard S rank weapons for free from beating the overworld bosses.
Yeah.
True.
I mean,
Yeah,
unless
like-
there's like a Favonius type of sword, 4-star weapon, it would be like insane,
yeah.
then,
Yeah.
True.
you know.
Yeah. There could be like some crazy A ranks in there that like in certain circumstances are really good, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, you might just upgrade an A rank weapon so you've got the damage to clear what you need to, and then you'll replace it eventually.
Okay. Well, I mean, hopefully there are just going to be like some good staples, so, like some good, very reliable ones for like every account to pull just to, you know, have like a good starting baseline. And I mean, with the way that the weapons are designed, it doesn't, I know one of your concerns, ALG, was about like, oh yeah, like the characters are really going to need their weapons. From the effects that I've seen, a lot of them seem to have like just general stat upgrades while like certain abilities are used, and it doesn't look like it's going to be that bad. But we'll just have to see when it comes to the end game.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're honeymoon perioding now. Like what happens, 1.3, 1.4, and we start getting more of that push of like, oh look, she's really good, but like, kind of like this character over here, like the Miyabi.
Yeah,
You really
I
want to
guess-
pull that engine,
I guess, to be fair, there have been a lot of games that have done like a bit of a bait and switch when it comes to the scope of their weapons, and then like at a certain point, like they release patch 2 point something, and then the weapon is like the most ridiculous thing you've ever fucking seen. And I'm just gonna be honest over here. I feel like if you look at like a ZZZ 1.0 character's limited weapon, and then you look at like a 2 point something, isn't it sort of just like, doesn't this 2.0 character's weapon do like double what a 1.0's did? Like it has like double the stats, double like the base stats too. It's just like tripling everything.
For some characters, yes. I mean, there are certain exceptions
Occasionally,
that
yeah.
might not be as good, yeah. Like, I think Jufufu weapon was kind of like made.
Yeah, but then it's like you look at
Yeah.
like a Yishuan's weapon or like a
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
yeah. The
God
Void
forbid,
Hunters, like, they're must pull weapons pretty much.
yeah,
If that's what they do here, like the samurai lady is like a Void Hunter level character, then yeah, you probably will want the weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's like 1.3, 1.4 when she releases, and her weapon is like, oh god, it's like a 40% increase. Like you don't have to, but like she's really good with it. And then they start scaling the end game, and it's like, I've played these games before. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, we all did, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess
like I said, it's-
I'm just over here coming from the game where it's like the weapons are like good, but like usually at most they're like 15% better, and like you don't actually, if you have like a team of characters, you don't even like need the weapon to clear.
I think for the most part that is ZZZ too, but like yeah, it's like we get those standout Void Hunter characters, and it's like, oh, actually, this is a huge.
Yeah, I expect
and,
we'll probably have standout
it
characters here as well.
Yeah, it could go down that
True.
route, but again, like I'm really hoping that from like a monetization perspective, they like they lean into the skin stuff, the slice of life stuff. People start enjoying, like
The cars,
and then they kind of realize that, oh hey, we
Buy
don't
that
have to
Porsche,
scale
buddy.
the end game
Yeah,
super aggressively.
buy the Porsche.
I'll buy the Porsche.
Yeah, well,
I probably won't. Can you get it from in-game currency? I think they said that on the live stream, right?
I mean, probably, yeah.
They better have like a souped up Giga version though that's only from the store. Otherwise, I think that is kind of like a dumb move, because it's kind of just
Yeah,
like,
can I buy
bro,
Fenrico Porsche as well?
It's like, bro, it's a fucking car, man. Like, I go pay for it, bro. It's a fucking car. It's not like, bro, you can't like run over your enemies in the end game. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Sure,
I will say as well, like you'll get a car early on, and I think like there will be like some really big early game traps that I think people will fall into, because you can spend a bunch of money on stuff that doesn't make any difference, because you get a car for free. It's not amazing, but you get one. And then like if you've amassed a bunch of the in-game currency, the fonds, and then you blow it on a new car, and it's like, oh, actually I needed to buy a new apartment, or I needed to invest into like this cafe so that I could run a cafe. You can run a cafe and you can get like daily income from it and stuff.
It's like, I just shut off my revenue stream because I retardedly spent all my money on on a vehicle.
Yeah,
I didn't
like
need.
I think people will fall into like early game traps like that.
Mismanaging your
Hey,
tycoon.
just
resources.
translate a CN person's guide, bro. It's just that easy. Just translate
just
a
put it-
CN person's guide. Very
I just
simple.
put in the title CM.
Yeah, I'm planning to make a bunch of NTE
yeah.
guides, but yeah, like Razor and I were talking about it earlier, and we're like, I don't know whether or not we need to now aim for the CN release date or the global release date, but
For 23rd April, yeah.
What I would imagine is that you simply take motivation from, oh, what's popping off in CN over here, and then
we can
tailor
that's
that
true.
content. Because this is the thing, right? You're not gonna be able to like fucking rip their footage and stuff. You're probably gonna be able to, I guess, like look at the topical areas that are popular, and then do research and know like what to prioritize when the game releases, and then just drop a bunch of fucking videos after grinding like crazy on day one. That's what I assume is like the tactic here.
Yeah, that's
Check
the plan.
this Reddit post, guys. So basically, it's already kind of confirmed that there is effectively a 1 week delay or different version between the games. Because if you look at this picture, the two banners, the
Yeah.
Chinese banner ends on 7th of May for Hotori. Meanwhile, global is 13 May. So we're effectively, if they don't sync up the servers, we are 7 days behind. If China also has early access, then even more behind. And I personally think this could hurt for streamers. Because like when you're streaming, you know, like you can't, like, let's say the new character drops in China, but you can't stream that new character yet for 7 days. And I think that's gonna really hurt for streaming, if you ask me.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
I think that this is something that they should sort out earlier rather
Yeah,
than
I think
later
so.
when it comes to this. And it's really just as easy as like shortening a version by like 7 days on global, right?
Yeah, I think this would be probably a fix. I think it's also gonna be potentially like a bit annoying for YouTube content creators as well. But I think, like you said, it's probably gonna be more manageable. But just for streaming, you know, I feel like it's gonna be less hype for global, where people like already watch this from China, or like some of these CCs who are going to play on the Chinese versions and show that stuff, and you're like, yeah, what do I have to show that day? Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally they
Yeah.
would sync it up for 1.1, but according to the images that we've got here, like
Yeah.
it does look like the Chinese finishes on the 28th of May, and then the global finishes on June 3rd.
Yeah,
So
some
it
people
doesn't
were
look
saying
like
they
they're
might
planning
sync
to.
for 1.1, but there's no confirmation. So I hope they just do this right and don't mess it up, because marketing, promotion has to be strong also in the West. So people are excited and hyped.
I mean, it's
Right,
got to
and-
be fucking annoying for their marketing teams too, because you'll be
And also
having like
spoilers
version
and shit,
trailers
yeah.
and stuff like that, and it's like, isn't it kind of
Yeah.
just easier to release everything everywhere all at once versus like, hey,
Exactly.
yeah, China, you guys get to go ahead and release the character PV, the demo, as well as like all this other shit on this date, and then 7 days later we're gonna do it for the rest of the fucking world. I mean, like, I guess to me
A
it's
lot of
just
people already watched it as well, yeah, and they won't watch the global version.
yeah, and so
that
it's
won't get
kind of
less
just like.
traction, yeah.
I don't know. It feels like it's kind of just killing the game preemptively. That like
Yeah,
this
yes,
is
maybe
for marketing.
maybe a little bit killing like the global CC scene
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
like-
bit,
like,
I
yeah,
guess.
killing-
But
killing the
like it
global
kills
side
the
a little
hype a
bit.
little. Yeah.
yeah.
And also spoilers, like for people like on the internet might get spoiled for the story and stuff a week ahead on like social media. People will be like spamming, you know, the spoilers. And I think the reason why they decided to release the Chinese version 1 week earlier, I have to mention one gotcha game here. Excuse me. It's probably because of WoW anniversary update patch, right? They didn't want it to overlap, which kind of makes sense if you ask me.
But I guess now it's overlapping in global, so it's kind of just like, what the
Yeah,
hell's
it's
even
totally
going
Yeah,
on
but
here?
overlapping.
they're basically banking more on the Chinese version for big money. That they have big spenders in China. That's what I think they're doing, just to make sure they like cash out there as much as they can.
There is an element as well of like not necessarily beta testing, but like opening up the servers early to a smaller group of players. Obviously, the Chinese audience is going to be huge, but
Yeah.
like there is an
Yeah.
element of like opening up for the Chinese players first before they let everyone in from global. Because if there are like glaring issues or bugs or something that haven't been ironed out, at least they get ironed out before they hit global.
But
There
they
is that
kind of
as well.
basically, it does seem like they're kind of offering global up as like a slaughter, right? Because it's releasing on the same day as the WoW anniversary. So it's like, wouldn't it make more sense for global to be the beta testers, and then for the CN audience, which they're focusing on, to actually get the final refined? I mean, I guess the thing is, like, I'm listening to all the reasoning and the logic, and it all kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
'Cause why would you use China as the beta test when they're clearly the biggest and more prioritized audience? Like, what did you
I
want?
think they just want to. I think they really just want to make strong money and launch in China without overlapping with WoW. Because if they released it with WoW and China the same day, they probably would lose a certain amount of revenue.
They don't give a
think they
fuck
can
about
get-
global then, I guess. I don't know. It's
We're
I
also
don't
trying to
know.
reverse engineer a gacha game company's decision, boys. It's,
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
that's,
Hey,
that's,
hey,
that's true.
it's always nonsense.
And we have seen for some past game releases, companies just do some stupid ass shit for no fucking reason.
Black Beacon,
Real.
right?
Mm-mm-mm.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be the case here. I think it's gonna be fine if they sync up. If they don't sync up, I think the marketing for global is gonna be utterly cooked.
Yeah, and I think
From
like it's
PC
just
perspective and hype.
it's just kind of gonna result in like this very, I think, like odd dynamic where it's like, I mean, will people like voluntarily like want to like I guess the thing is, it's just like, I don't think that gacha games right now need any less reasons for CCs to play games. I mean, we've kind of
Yeah.
like, I think it's kind of obvious to all of us on here. Gacha is not as popular as it was a year ago. Probably not even as popular as it was like 2 years ago. I think that like analytically, the space has not been doing as well as it was. And even with some of like the new releases and stuff like that, you just take a look at like YouTube channels nowadays, views across the board are kind of just down everywhere.
Maybe
And
for YouTube, but the game itself, like WoWa, it's just rising up. It's going up, no? Like the actual game.
Not during like 3.2 and stuff. Definitely
Okay,
not.
fair.
Sigrika is actually the lowest selling banner in the history of the game. She sold worse than dudes.
Worse than Look, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
people
I
pull
think, yeah.
dudes more than Sigrika. So it's kind of just like, I know the anniversary and stuff for WoWa is coming up, but yeah, viewership as a whole does seem like down. I don't know if I think revenue in the space as a whole might be down, but that just simply might be due to the global recession. So
yeah, I think this is probably it's a very interesting topic for probably another time. But I will quickly say, like, I think that what's potentially happening is that there's just really good competition. There's a lot of really good competition.
Oh, yeah,
and I think that competition, to a point, it kind of cannibalizes itself because people only play like 1 or 2 gacha games, and then when a big new gacha game comes out, like some of the audience will hop to that gacha game, and then, you know, like for example, with NTE coming out now, like I think a lot of people, like with the time investment that it takes, you know, a lot of people might very well consider some of the big time investment gachas that they have, you know, like your big ones like Genshin and WoWa, and then be like, oh, maybe I could put that down for a week or two, and then they maybe just never come back. And I think, like, yeah, to an extent, I think the audience does kind of cannibalize itself, and I think that's why potentially on, you know, like platforms like YouTube, it feels like the hype is down for certain games, is because, well, actually the audience is actually getting smaller, but the general gacha audience is pretty much probably staying the same size. It's just kind of like they're hopping around between different games.
More fragmented. Yeah, I think that's
fragmented.
One...
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And also, obviously, how you have over China as well, and there it's quite massive audience for this stuff still.
And I guess just on the topic of fragmentation, though, right? Any sort of like disparity between like global and CN in this circumstance, I'm just personally of the opinion, you don't need any more reasons for global CCs to like stop making content and stuff, or like to like, you want as many of them as possible to be jumping in on these games. And I think like having a barrier like this just seems kind of pointless for some reason. But who knows, right? Maybe it just maybe the player base just doesn't care. But I mean, the fact that it's launching right next to the WoWa anniversary makes it seem like maybe the devs are just like kind of phoning it in for global for a little bit. Who knows?
And I think I think there is a lot of like casual audience as well who will probably not really care that much that it's out in a week early in CN, and they'll still watch the guides and stuff. So hopefully if NT is big enough, it might not make that much of a difference to the CC scene. But
if it's
we'll
smaller,
see,
then
if it's smaller, then the people are really dedicated to it, and they seek out those guides from, you know, Chinese-speaking CCs, which means that like the global CC scene kind of dies a little bit. But, you know, we'll have to see what happens.
Hey, maybe we'll all have to become translators.
Yeah, better watch those Bilibili videos, man.
I did get a Bilibili account. I should get one.
How? You did the ID?
I did it like
I mean, you have to put your ID and shit. You really want to do that? I mean, go ahead.
I mean, I'm pretty cool.
Just learn Chinese, bro. It's not that hard. I'm kidding. I think it's one of the hardest languages.
Easy clap.
Yeah, I mean, you could technically just download the transcript from a Bilibili video, then translate the transcript with AI. Like, you could do that.
Boring.
If they have like showcase videos for like the new characters or whatever. Why global always gets mistreated? I don't know, man. It is kind of like weird. Yeah, they did this. Hopefully they do sync it up for 1.1 patch and it's gonna be resolved. Because now I think it's gonna be like a bit of a nightmare. Because like think of it like this: me and LG are gonna make like videos for NTE. Like that. Like do we have to do videos now on 23rd of April because that's when the game comes out, or we still just wait around the global release? I feel like we have to do like earlier while it's already effective.
I think I'm just going to work to global and hope that it's fine, honestly. I think for launch, at least, it will definitely be big enough.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah. And also, speaking of gameplay content, like the amount of content you have to do, eventually, from what I've seen, you will run out of things to do. And then it's going to be more like you have your typical gacha loop where you're just spending stamina and maintaining your tycoon assets base, and which that stuff also does some of it, like racing costs stamina, right? So I think it's gonna come down to that. It's not gonna be like a endless grind, infinite playing, whatever. Eventually you will run out of content. Except I don't think it's gonna be dry as certain games, because you will have weekly end game every 2 weeks at least,
And they're gonna
activity.
likely include event content that's more than maybe like cooking dishes of food and delivering it, right?
Oh
or
yeah,
like, or like
absolutely.
cleaning up poo.
Maybe racing or something for events, and maybe they give like a car, a skin or something as an event reward. There's like so much potential for having
Yeah,
good events.
they're happy to
Actually,
do cosmetic rewards as well. That would be actually awesome. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. I think they can do that really well. The way the game is designed, I think it's really set up nicely for events, where you have more meaningful events than cleaning some shit on the wall. I mean, you do clean shit on the wall when you're in prison, sure, but
Oh
actually,
yeah,
yeah, in
Power Wash
prison,
Simulator.
yeah, you actually
Yeah.
do that when you're in prison, not just
It's
in
pretty
actual.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta get sent to jail
It-
first. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean that
true,
seems like
true,
a
true.
valid punishment, right? Like an activity
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that should
I
be
know, but I don't want to
reserved
feel
for- as
punished when I'm
punishment
playing a
for the
game for
players.
fun.
Yeah, certain games don't require prison for that
Yeah,
punishment.
certain
let's put it
games
that way.
like make you think it's fun.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. It is kind of cooked, but I think the events are gonna be. I think the events are gonna be fine. At least the events are gonna. I think they're gonna be decent. They might do some of the mini game BS as well, sure, like mini events. But I still think you're gonna have like the typical major event where you used to have like in WoWA and Hoyo games, right? Like a major event of the patch. So I think it's gonna be fine regarding that.
Sounds solid. I got this one last message from chat over here, just thinking about topical areas. Is there anything we want to talk about when it comes to the story, or is it kind of just like too spoilery at this point to dive too much into
I mean,
it?
I could add a little to the story, because me and LG also played a certain significant amount of the story. It's very goofy. Like, it has a lot of comedic moments, but also the story does have serious moments as well. It
Okay.
can have serious moments. So, have you seen the Fadia trailer or not?
I have not.
Okay. I'll just show you a couple of pictures from there. So, what I mean when you have the game being more darker, right? So,
She's the
I'll
one
show
with
you
the coffin, right?
Yeah. I'll show you some
Yeah.
crazy shit. So basically, this is what she does. She kills this guy, and the blood is dripping on her thingy, and the guy is actually like,
The thingy.
yeah, he's actually impaled above her. She impales him like that, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and she also gets impaled herself in fight, like shit like this. Look. So it can be more darker as well, right? Like you can see that, like she gets actually impaled. in actual blood.
Okay. So it's
So-
all right.
So you do have a bit more, darker stuff as well, but there is a lot of like comedic quests or moments, right?
I will.
That's kind of
I will say in relation to the comedic stuff is that some of it is okay. A lot of
sounds-
it did not. A lot of it is personal preference, and I'll be real, a lot of it did not land for me.
yeah, the Tagi do. Oh my.
It could be a little bit
Yeah.
too cringe for a certain part of the audience.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. That there is like Razor cringed at the mention of Tagido, who's this little like rat creature with a TV on his head. And yeah, he's just annoying as heck. And you do
The
like
worst thing
entire
ever made,
quest lines
bro.
with him, and and then the only way he speaks is like by saying his name over and over again, like a Pokemon. And it's just he's not even like Paimon. Like Paimon is actually better. I can't believe I said that, but yeah, I
Sure.
did. Yeah.
How is comedy compared to Mongil Stardive? I mean, it's there. I think it's a bit different type of comedy, I suppose, but it's there. It has its moments, but you also have serious moments, which is fine. And you do have like the dating as well, where you're gonna meet the characters in the open areas, and you can date with them, like go to cinema and shit like that. So you have all kinds of things, right?
Yeah, and then you have
something
like affinity quests as well. It's like on top of that, like with when you as
Yeah.
you like level up with a character, and then you unlock like a scene with them where you're like baking with them or something, which is cute. It's good. I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, it feels slice of lifey and fun for the most part, but there are serious moments for sure.
There are serious moments where the plot thickens, or like the villains or whatever start showing up in the background or whatever, like without spoiling much, right?
Anything we missed?
Anything we missed? Good question.
I don't think so.
I'm just looking very quick. Oh yeah, they did add a couple of new bosses, I assume. Yeah, they added 2 new bosses on launch, and I assume these 2 bosses will also give you an S rank weapon if it's anything like the others ones for first time clear. So there might be
Gotcha.
like 2 extra weapons potentially as well.
Okay, so basically each boss individually gives its like own S rank weapon.
For first time clear,
For
yes.
the first time clear. So the more bosses they have, the more S rank weapons, I guess, are being added to the game.
Potentially. Like, I don't think they mentioned the new 2 bosses have the S rank weapon, but it's safe to assume they would have it
Because
because
every boss
all
has
others
one.
do. Yeah, that's why.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
That seems interesting.
yeah,
for
also,
sure.
I guess I could quickly touch regarding the endgame mode thingy.
Oh yeah, sure.
From what I've seen, like at least from some CN players, like the higher floors, I think it does need a bit of, let's say, a bit more of work with the enemies. They seemed very like,
Spongy.
not just spongy, but like static, like not very reactive, especially the elites or normal enemies, not like the bosses, sure, right? But like the elite enemies, I suppose.
Yeah,
Could be a bit more reactive. Or like
when we
doing
started
more.
saying like anything else we want to mention, something we hadn't touched on really like that much was the combat aspect.
True.
And I think like bringing up that those bosses feeling a little bit spongy or a little bit static in the in that end game. I do think the combat feels a little stiff at times. It's fun. It's fun to like do like a rotation and stuff, and it's fun to like link your skills together with the different characters because they've got that element thing. We talked about this last time, I think.
Yeah.
Where you can link between different characters. So yeah, but it doesn't feel amazing though. I will say. I think it's not the strongest draw of the game to me. I think that's probably why I'm more interested in the slice of life aspect stuff and the city exploration is because the combat is there, it's fine, it's relatively fun, but it feels a little stiff. And I think it probably needs a few more maybe characters with interesting skills, a little bit more development, stuff like that, and it could be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they did a bit of couple combat optimizations for what I've seen, like being able to cancel attack animations and stuff like that. So like,
oh yeah, that is cool. Yeah,
True.
So yeah, it does seem like they listened and they are making changes to it, which is great.
yeah, it's definitely better than what it used to be. Like the prior betas, it was like really bad. They definitely upped it from what it used to be at least, and probably for launch it's gonna be even better. But
Hopefully,
I don't
yeah.
expect to be like on the level of certain gachas we're used to, like you were, I guess, used to with War or ZZZ, right?
Yeah.
Like, unless if they really worked upon it hard for launch, or maybe they will just do it over time, and maybe for 1.1 with the new characters they add like new, more interesting kits and stuff like that. But the element switching system is very fun. It does promote like team building, so you actually build things that are cohesive and work together. Similar, like maybe not exactly the same thing as like additional ability in ZZZ, I suppose, but it's still kind of like promotes that you.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
promotes like making a coherent team.
and
Yeah.
who knows, right? Maybe a combat system that's maybe not as like either freeform or as like variable as some of
Yeah.
the other games that we play is something that's actually more suited to certain audiences, right? I'm thinking like, thinking of literally like Genshin Impact players that are more used to like, I don't know, like locked animations and stuff, not being able to like swap during certain things, stuff like that. And then maybe like the system like NT is actually more up their alley, right? Like in ZZZ, you're like you're swapping in the middle of skill casts, and Wuwa, right? You're doing that. You're doing the same exact thing. So yeah, we'll just kind of like have to see.
I mean, it is a bit more. I would say it's still more reactive. Like there's like swapping and stuff compared to Genshin, if you ask me.
Oh, absolutely, probably, but
I think I still think it is at least over that.
okay, all right.
But it still needs some work, and hopefully the work was put into for the launch compared to the beta. So
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
potentially did it. Yeah.
I will say that didn't seem like they put that much of a focus on it during the live stream, so perhaps the changes aren't as pronounced as maybe we're theorizing over here, or maybe they just didn't decide to prioritize it. They're actually very good. We'll just have to see it. I guess the good news is that CN will be able to give us a preview on it.
Yeah, literally in 4 days or something like that.
Yeah, so we'll find out sooner rather than later.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, anything else we missed after that stuff then?
Let me
Anything
check.
from you, Razor? I think we touched on everything.
I think we pretty much touched on everything. Unless you actually want to talk about the collabs as well. They're doing several collabs for the music as well. Like,
I was so
Persona.
excited for the Persona collab.
Yeah, I think that's also very big W, because like in WoW we also have the music, right? Collabs
Yeah.
with the motorbike, and in NT they're doing this as well. I think it's a very smart idea, having events or things like that where people can unlock these music tracks, right? And they can add it for more and more games, and I think that's very cool for this type of game, because you will be driving around a lot. The only thing I wish they did, which is what was like in Cyberpunk, where when you leave the car, you still keep the radio, like you have like earphone,
like an
or
earpiece
whatever.
or-
Yeah,
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 like-
yeah. So you can keep listening to it, right? I
they
think that would be
said that was
very
gonna
nice.
be in, like some sort of way to keep the music going. I'm not super sure though.
Yeah,
I
that
can't
would be very
remember.
nice, and I hope they do also more car collabs, and not like, I'm not talking about the car collab where it's like, oh, it's a real life car that some guy might win or not. Fuck that shit. But like car collab within the fucking game, right?
Yeah.
That's what we want.
I think, to
So-
be honest, if the Porsche one does well, then I could see them adding other like real sports cars as well.
Yeah.
Which you get, it'd be kind of hype, like every patch of it, like every
the
few
other
patches. It's
Portal
like, oh,
player
cool.
to keep listening to music, they showed. Okay, perfect. They did that. Okay, because I missed that one. So they
Okay.
did
Oh,
it.
that's
So
sick.
you'll be able to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, I
that's
knew
it.
I was remembering,
Yeah.
right? Y'all were gaslighting me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's great. And I think having more of these collabs for this type of game is going to work great. I don't think they're going to go Fortnite levels of collabs, but like collabs for cars and music would be relatively nice to have as much as possible.
It seems like they might have like a similar collab on like the Woo-Wah capacity, where it's like, like one big one, like the Cyberpunk one, and then like a bunch of other like skins, liveries, like decals, I assume, for, and music, right? For some of the other stuff like they're doing with Persona. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited, boys.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, man. I'm
Like
looking
10
forward to
days. 10 days. Do we play NTE?
Yeah, and also have like ray
Do we play
tracing
on
all that
American
stuff.
servers? Are you playing
Yeah,
on
we
American?
should. Like, we should play America so we can all do co-op, right? You gotta be on America,
Sure.
right, Saint?
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm American,
Yeah, sure.
not
We're gonna play on
American.
America. Yeah, we're gonna do that GTA 4 America experience, like.
Oh, okay, then we can only use characters that have guns.
Europeans in America.
Yeah, we can only use characters that have guns when we do the heist.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, it's gonna be big, man.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Well, awesome chat then, guys. Very glad we were able to reconvene again after the breaks that we've been taking when it comes to maybe some other games. But yeah, we'll probably make this a bit more of a continual thing as the game releases. And of course, probably do like another sort of reconvene once we
Post-launch, yeah, probably would be a great idea.
yeah, post-launch to give some of the thoughts over here. And of course, right, bring some actual more NTE CCs, or just not even NTE CCs, but CCs that are playing NTE as well.
For sure.
To something like this.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll see y'all later then, guys.
Yeah, thanks for hanging
Yeah,
out. It's
thank
been
you for
real.
having me, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
it's
for the chat.
always a
Right.
good time. All right, peace.
Catch you later, guys. Bye.